Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another myBehaviorally Tech Talk. I'm Shane Schultz, Business Development Manager here at Behaviorally, and I'm based in Chicago. Katie, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Katie O'Connor, and I lead the key accounts team based in London.
Fantastic. Well, we're very excited to talk myBehaviorally today, but just a little bit of context about the platform. So at Behaviorally, we help brands drive what we call decision precision. And with myBehaviorally, it is the only dedicated pack design platform that integrates the world's largest first-party behavioral packaging database with real-world sales data. So brands can get greater accuracy, faster results, and better value. And today we're going to be talking specifically, like I said, about scorecards. So Katie, do you want to take it away from there?
Yeah, so you'll be already seeing my screen here, and this is one of the scorecards on myBehaviorally. I always like to start with an overall view. So if we have a look, you'll see there's 4 metrics going down the side here. The first one going across the top is our PackPower Score. So this is our overall summary score, which gives you a quick view of the overall performance on the packs. So we can already see, looking at these 3 examples that we have here, we have some clear differentiation between 2 stronger packs and 1 weaker pack. Then below that, you can see the 4 S's of our 4S framework being seen, shoppable, seductive, and selected. And these are the 4 aspects that we think packs need to show strength on. Being seen is all about being visible. Shoppable is all about being found and quickly found on shelf. Seductive are all those communication metrics that you want to put across. And being selected is the ultimate prize, getting purchased at shelf. So just to highlight a couple of really helpful tools here. When I'm looking at these, I've noticed that the lime margarita pack is the best one here with a 66 on a PackPower Score rating. So that made me curious to think about how do those other packs perform against it. And there's a handy little button here that you can click on that'll quickly highlight the relative strengths and weaknesses of the other packs around from it. So as I said here, it's the strongest in terms of overall pack power, though Cayman Jack is not that far off from it. But where this pack is really shining relative to Cayman pack is on being seen. So Cayman's weaker here, showing that it's the lime margarita is a much more visible pack. Though there's something in that Cayman one that seems to be more shoppable. So perhaps having the way that it presents the brand and the margarita flavor is helping shoppers find what they are interested in. Looking over here at the comparison to Buzzball, we can see that, again, this was the weaker overall performer, and it's really struggling in its communication relative to our top performer here. So we can see that there's something in that seductive metrics. So that's really what then makes me curious to kind of dive in a little bit and see what's sitting underneath each of these metrics. So I can click over here to another scorecard with much more detailed metrics. And you can see there's a much longer list here, and each of the metrics is categorized under whether it's in seen, shoppable, seductive, or selected. So you can see some of the metrics that are underpinning those. Since I noticed that Buzzball was weaker on seductive, those are often the metrics that I'm a lot more curious about, because there's quite a few, as you can see here, attributes that underpin what it means to be seductive. So I've created another scorecard, just zooming in and filtering down to those seductive metrics. And I did that really simply by just switching them off and on here, so I could create a more narrowed in scorecard to see those specific ones. And then I can go back here and click again as my reference point, so I can really very clearly and visibly see which metrics are stronger and weaker in the different packs. And what we can see here is that Buzzball is overall weaker. It has particular weakness on trust. I think that makes some sense. The package is really quite kind of plain. It's not really communicating a lot in terms of premiumness or value. So I think I can see why shoppers, particularly if they're not already familiar with the brand, might lack trust in particular around that. And similarly, we see premiumness dropping down there. Versus for someone like me, it's relevant. It's probably speaking to people who will want to be buying into the RTD category. It's not entirely full of weakness, but I think that's some interesting highlights there. On the other side, seeing where Cayman Jack and lime and the Cutwater product also performed quite similarly overall, but it has some differences, some strengths in its seductiveness, It's generally rated as a better than other brands. I think that's because the way they're using their brand mark. Cutwater as a brand is quite small there. Often the brand mark really can help build that kind of overall perception versus other brands. It's doing better in premiumness as well, but it's also weaker in trust. And I think there could be something perhaps in the sort of more modern, clean take that we see with Lime Margarita or the Cutwater product and its strengths. So that I know is a quick whiz through, but hopefully it gave you a sense of how you can start from the sort of top level overall performance of our PackPower Score and the 4S's, and then you can start to dive into generate some hypotheses as to why one of your packs might be performing better than others.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you for that, Katie. It's such a nice feature to be able to have to anchor one of those packs and directly compare scores side by side so you can start putting that narrative together and where products are winning. Question for you though, is it difficult to build one of these scorecards?
No, and I'll admit I did this very shortly before the call. So it's just a few clicks. You upload your packs, then you can choose which packs you want to compare. And then from there, it's like I said, just switching off and on the metrics that you're most interested in looking at. And then you can easily kind of click between these benchmarks. So really, it can be done in a matter of minutes to get to this level of analysis.
Absolutely. I'll admit I already knew the answer to that question, which is minutes, but just wanted to talk about it. What an interesting use case, too, with RTDs, where I know a lot of companies are rushing to get products to market in such a competitive space. I wonder, have you seen any other interesting use cases using scorecards outside of, say, RTDs?
Yeah, I mean, certainly alcohol more broadly. I've been working in a lot of examples in that space. And I think, but across categories, I think it's this comparison of looking at different brands and getting a viewpoint of not just your brand and your packaging, but the opportunity to upload a whole range of competitive packs that are doing different things in the category. I think getting that kind of category perspective has been a really interesting and helpful use case.
Absolutely. Yeah, and in thinking about different categories, it's been very, very useful for me to put packs together, and it's great to be able to see the category on a whole and not only test your packs, but your competitors to benchmark, and really easy to do, just like you've shown us. Well, that was fantastic, Katie. If anybody has any questions, by all means, feel free to reach out to either Katie or myself. We'd be happy to show you a demo of the entire platform and show you how myBehaviorally can work for you. But thank you so much for joining us. And Katie, thank you for running through everything.
Thanks.